What's going on, everybody? Rob here with a little video of trying to get the light here but the boat's on that side, the light here but the boat's on that side. Trying to get a little video on if you're planning on purchasing a boat. Well, I guess if I go under there you can see it, but I'm going over this because I know it's going to be boating season coming up. It's still a little bit cold out here, but it's going to be boating season coming up, and a lot of people want to purchase a boat. But one thing that I could tell you is, you see, we're in my backyard right now, and I have a temporary canopy that I have to put up every year to kind of keep the boat underneath the weather or getting wet. And then this is just temporary this year, really, but because we put the boat in one of my friends' heated storage over the season, but he was renting out the space come March, so it's been sitting here since March. But over the dire cold winter, it normally sits along the back of the house. In here, in this area is where it normally sits, and then we pay to have it shrink wrapped and winterized. I just want to let you know that when you're looking at purchasing a boat, when you're looking at getting a boat, now we were going to get this one, or we were going to get the one that was 2 feet bigger than this. They call it 2 feet-itis. But you see, with our gates and where we have to turn it in to make the turn, the one with 2 feet would have been too snug. Now we have the foldable trailer right here, so when we push it back this way, we fold the trailer in and it's able to fit right there, with it being shrink wrapped over the winter. And you know, with it being shrink wrapped, and then with all the work, and we have it winterized, we have the battery taken out, they actually do the grease the bearings, and this is the fuel, that the gear oil that needs to be changed in this every season down here. And since there's a warranty, we pay for that. Now I tell everybody, when you're purchasing a boat, this is the one, the not very, one of the, there's a lot of important stuff, but this is one of the important ones that I say that everybody should know. It's where you're going to store your boat during the season, on season, right? People say, well, I'm going to trailer it back and forth, or I'm going to store it somewhere else, or I'm gonna, you know, my marina slip's gonna be an hour away. It's gonna be your convenience, because it may sound really good right now, but if you're an hour or 2 hours away, unless you're gonna spend the weekend there, it's really gonna be a little bit more inconvenient, and you're not gonna use it as much as possible. Well, I'm just gonna be out there on the weekends, I'm gonna trailer it. Well, if you're trailering on the weekends, now we don't use this too much on the weekends because a lot of the weekend boaters come out there, so we use it during the week, so it's less stressful for us on the water. You know, well, I want the big one with the cabin and that. Well, you know what, I want a 27-footer also, but right now this isn't in the water. I'd be having to pay somewhere also to store it somewhere else if I didn't have the capability of storing it in my own yard right now. So I tell a lot of people, like, well, if you're living in a gated community, if you're living in a suburban community, if you got to check with what your ordinances are, because a lot of places you can't even keep this in your driveway. If you think you got a 2-car garage and you got a driveway, if you're in some of the communities or gated communities, you can't leave a boat in your driveway. In the city, you can't leave a boat on the street, so you will have to pay to have that stored somewhere. Now, one of the reasons why I got my marina slip is to leave the boat in the water. You know, I have 4 minutes for my marina slip, and I leave the boat in the water during marina season, because I hate launching. I absolutely hate launching, because one time with my van, my back tire slid on algae at one of the lakes, and man, I thought I was going to lose the boat. You know, it's kind of, to me, I get anxiety launching, anxiety pulling it, so we trailer it over there, we put it in for the season. But before we do that this year, we got to have the impeller changed, because the motor's under warranty. We wax the bottom of the boat, or some people say paint the bottom of the boat, but I didn't paint the bottom of it, and I wax the bottom of it every year, because if you paint it, you're going to have to sand it like every 3 years, and I think sanding is a lot more intensive than washing and waxing. So that's why I just wax the bottom of the boat. I can do this one by hand. You see, it's still, the bottom of the boat is still in like shiny condition, and it wasn't waxed the end of last year. It was just washed off with a pressure washer. Another thing, if you're leaving your boat in the marina, your canvas got to be treated, because this right here, if it's not treated in the sun will bake this and tear this in half. I mean, the sun will really bake this with the weather condition. And the treater for this is like $60, I think, to treat this right here, the canvas. But it really does make it waterproof. It's really caustic, but you need it for that UV protection also. You need to keep wax in your boat because you need it for the UV protection. This boat is going to be beat up with the weather and the sun and wherever you have it at, so you have to make sure it's waxed. Another thing I tell people is, because we were looking at bigger boats and older boats, and I was just getting the anxiety because I'm like, you know, they say, well, yeah, boat stands for bust out another 1,000, or you know, they're pretty much all right about that. But with the 27-foot boat, I'd be paying right now, and you see the weather is 50 degrees right now. It's kind of cold to be on the boat. Now, of course, I can't go into bed. I don't have the bedroom. We can't spend the weekend at the marina, you know. But we live so close to it that it's convenient for us to go to the marina, to swipe our pass, to go hang out, to go take our evening walks, and we're in a gated marina with security. You know, that's what's really good about having that. And also, on the weekends when you're planning on being out more, unless you're going to be there butt crack of dawn early to get in, and you got to figure out when you're going to get out, sometimes there's a whole backed up line and it's so long to get in the water, to sit your boat in the water. Now this year at our marina, it's extra $200 to store the trailer over there, because normally we just leave the trailer in the backyard and you know, the boat's in the marina. But it's hard to maintain the grass under the trailer, you know. So this year I think we're going to pay the extra $200 to leave the boat in the marina. Another thing with the boats and your maintenance and where you're going to store it at is, like, if I purchased a bigger boat, you know, a wider boat than this one right here, with the city alleys, I know I wouldn't be able to get in through the alley. A lot of people bump their fences out to get more yard space, so we would literally have to walk down every alley and move everybody's garbage cans further back to pull the boat back. So this size of the boat is perfect for us and the situation we're in. But if you're looking at purchasing a boat or looking to get the size of the boat, you got to make sure where you're going to keep it, not only during the season but off season also, and how convenient it is, or how long you're willing to travel if you're going to use that boat for that time. And don't say, well, okay, you can't really plan your dates. We're going in the water this, we're going in the water that, because even with a bright sunny day and 80 degrees, if the winds are the wrong way, you're not leaving out in the water anywhere because it's too dangerous, you know. So that's another thing when people say, well, I want to go on the boat, I want to go on the boat. Like, well, the boat's at the marina, but we play it by ear when we take the boat out, because not only is it the rain, it's the wind. And if the wind is hard or blowing the wrong way, and then on top of that, if it's the weekend and there's an abundance of people out there, if it's a holiday, it's abundant of people out there, we don't even go out, we just hang out at the marina. So this is just some stuff to think about and to go over, and I'll keep up with you. I'll keep up with you on this. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to tell you about: the weight of your boat. The weight of your boat. Now, this is a 2020, I think. It's 2022 now. It's a 2020. We bought it in 2019. So this is a newer boat. The boat and trailer together is right around 2,500 pounds with the motor, the boat, and the trailer, okay? 2,500 pounds. So with most small vans, 6 cylinders, you should be able to pull this no problem. I said you should be able to pull this no problem. It depends on what boat launch you're going to be, because if the boat launch is too steep, or if there's algae, if it's not maintained, it gets a little bit white knuckling. So this is, you know, say 2,500 pounds with everything on it. So you're gonna back up, and with a lot of these minivans, they're front wheel drive. So if you think about it, where your tongue is puts pressure on the back of your vehicle, so your front wheel drive comes up a little bit more. So this is a 16-foot. It does got the swim platforms on it. It fits 6 people, or 860 pounds or 890 pounds or something like that. But now, if we were to get the bigger one, of course, it's going to be more weight to pull. So we got the big van, because if you think, well, I'm going to get the boat, but I'm going to rent the van from U-Haul every time, or I'm going to borrow a vehicle to take it and launch it and bring it back, and the less convenient it is, the less you're going to enjoy it. So we were looking at, when I first started looking, I was looking at a 26-foot Carver Santa Cruz. I was in love with the 26-foot Carver Santa Cruzes, okay? For one, where am I going to store that? But for two, if you look into older boats, they're so much more heavier. So this right here, 2,500 pounds. 26-foot Carver Santa Cruz, 10,000 pounds. So they made them in the 70s, I think. The 70s or 80s. 10,000 pounds. So you picture yourself on the boat ramp that you're going to launch every weekend with 10,000 pounds going back and forth. You know, the some of the older boats are really nice, but some of them are really heavy. So you do have to think about what vehicle you're going to pull this with. So whatever else comes to mind, I will say. But on a day like today, I know for sure, even if it were 80 degrees, we wouldn't be out because it'd be too windy. All right, talk to you later. Don't forget to follow and subscribe, like, and share.